I'd like to welcome you to today's Workforce Knowledge Series event, Workforce Momentum, Navigating the Road to Economic Growth. Today's guests are Jill Leonard Anderson and Becky Lemke. Jill Leonard Anderson comes to us from Cornerstones Career Learning Center. After 20 years as an executive in the professional business industry, Jill joined Cornerstones in January as the Business and Industry Training Coordinator. Her corporate experience gives an enhanced perspective to the challenges businesses face in developing their workforce. Becky Lemke comes to us from Cornerstones Career Learning Center as well. Becky is the Assistant Director and Education Coordinator at Cornerstones Career Learning Center, where she has worked since 1999. She is a nationally certified trainer and has held a South Dakota teaching certificate for 33 years. Please join me in welcoming Jill and Becky from Cornerstones Career Learning Center.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Chris, for the introduction and for the opportunity to be here today. Jill and I are always glad to talk about adult education, but today we're going to focus specifically on something that matters to all of you: building, developing, and retaining that reliable workforce. What we'll show you is how adult education, through Cornerstone's Career Learning Center and other partners across the state, can partner with you to help meet those workforce needs in practical, cost-effective ways. Our focus today is collaboration, how Cornerstones and other adult education providers across the state, along with Department of Labor's Business Service team, can collaborate with employers to support long-term economic growth. You can see our agenda on the slide there. As we go through this, feel free to ask questions in the chat or jump in. We're educators. We're very comfortable with making this an interactive presentation. This year, Cornerstone's Career Learning Center is celebrating 40 years of service. But more importantly, for 40 years, we've been helping employers solve workforce challenges, not just providing education services. We work with adults 18 and older, many of whom are already in your applicant pool or on your payroll, and we help them build the skills they need to succeed, advance, and stay employed. We have physical offices in Huron, Aberdeen, Mitchell, Yankton, and Vermilion, with satellite services in the Pierre area. And everywhere we work, we partner closely with South Dakota Department of Labor and Regulation and other agencies, because workforce challenges are complex and the best solutions happen through partnership. But while we're based in multiple communities, this isn't just a Cornerstone story. There are adult education providers across the state of South Dakota, which means wherever you are, there's likely a local partner available to support your workforce needs. You can see some of them listed there on the slide. Programs may vary slightly from location to location, but all providers are working toward the same goal: helping adults become more skilled, reliable, and promotable employees. I'm going to let Jill talk to you a little about the impact that workforce training can have and some results from an employer survey we recently completed at Cornerstones.
Thank you, Becky. And good afternoon, everyone. Good morning yet. While we talk about building a stronger local economy, we're ultimately talking about strengthening our workforce, which is ultimately talking about people. In a rapidly shifting landscape of technology and AI, changing customer expectations, a high-skilled workforce isn't just a nice to have anymore. It's actually our compass. Continuous learning allows businesses to stay agile rather than reactive. And when employees build new skills, they gain the ability to pivot during disruptions and maintain momentum through any uncertainties. Skill development is what transforms a business from one that's merely surviving into a business that is actually leading the way. Investing in your employees' education and training serves as a roadmap for company culture. It sends a clear message to your team that you matter and we're all invested in your future. We know that employees who feel valued are far more likely to stay and grow within your organization. And from a bottom line perspective, upskilling existing talent is significantly more cost-effective than the constant cycle of recruiting and onboarding new hires, as we learned in last month's webinar, The Hidden Cost of a Bad Hire. The impact of a skilled workforce creates a powerful ripple effect, and businesses, as they grow stronger and as the individuals grow stronger, they provide three things that I'll note: One is stability. More secure jobs in our communities means higher wages for our economy. Two, attraction. What that means is a skilled talent pool makes our region in South Dakota a magnet for new industries and business. Third, self-reliance. In a rural community or small towns in South Dakota where our labor pools are limited, the concept of growing your own talent is the most proactive solution to an industry-wide talent shortage. Ultimately, investing in development isn't just about solving today's hurdles, it's really about preparing for tomorrow's opportunities. When our people grow, our businesses grow, and when our businesses grow, our entire communities thrive. Of course, this is spoken from my broad perspective with 20 years as an executive in a business setting. But now I'm here today as the training coordinator at Cornerstones. And in our next slide, I will reveal and review to you what our local South Dakota employers had to say in that recent survey that we mentioned. Prior to scheduling this presentation with Department of Labor, Cornerstones just surveyed local employers in our footprint. We asked them what skills are important for their workforce, where the gaps might be, and what barriers are there as far as training these employees in their workplace. As we looked at their feedback, a few clear themes began to emerge, and they really help ground this conversation today in reality. Their responses have become somewhat of a roadmap for me and for us here at Cornerstones to understand workforce needs to develop new and enhance existing training models that we ourselves have been providing for the past 40 years. First, what we found in the survey is that employers are telling us that essential and technical skills are their top priorities. Like I said before, these aren't just nice to have skills anymore. They're actually critical for day-to-day operations and for long-term growth. Essential skills examples are communication, problem solving, and reliability. They form the foundation of employment. While the technical skills are a little different and a little more advanced because they ensure employees can keep up with evolving tools, systems, or industry demands. At the same time, we found in our survey that there is a real challenge for our employers. Most of them want to invest in training, but they feel constrained by limited time and financial resources, for smaller businesses especially. If they're pulling employees away from their roles or allocating budget, training can feel difficult or sometimes even out of reach to those that we surveyed. And that's exactly why my next point is so important. Employees are clearly identifying significant skills gaps in the current workforce, and I'm sure all of you attending understand that. These gaps aren't just theoretical, they're actually being experienced in everyday hiring challenges, slower onboarding, and limitations in growth. What this tells us is that there's a real need for targeted, intentional training programs that address these specific gaps head on. Here's the good news, is that there is an encouraging trend. What we're seeing is the growing interest in collaboration. Employers are increasingly open to forming partnerships, whether it's with other businesses, educational institutions like Cornerstones, or workforce organizations like the Department of Labor. We are sharing resources, and they're interested in sharing these resources to create a more accessible training opportunity for employees. This kind of collaboration can help your businesses to reduce the burden of any one single workplace or organization while expanding impact across your entire community. The good news is we know that these efforts do work because at Cornerstones, we know that employers who have participated in educational programs that we've developed are reporting positive outcomes. Employees are gaining new skills, they're becoming confident in their roles, and they're contributing more effectively in their workplace. This translates directly to an increased productivity, stronger teams, higher quality, efficiency, and better performance overall. So when we step back and look at the full picture, yes, we see a challenge, but we also see an opportunity. There might be time, cost, and capacity challenge, but there's a clear demand, proven results, and a willingness to work together. The opportunity now is to build solutions and make training more accessible and more aligned with what employers actually need. Because when we bridge this gap between the need for skills and the ability to develop them, we unlock potential not just for each of your individual businesses, but for the workforce, your communities, and our economy.
So let's talk about what our services mean for your workforce. Cornerstones is an education organization, right? A GED or high school equivalency isn't just a credential. It's often the difference between an entry-level employee and someone you can promote. We regularly hear from employers who can't move employees into key roles like medication aides or supervisory roles because they lack that credential. The same is true for English skills. Valued employees who improve their English don't just communicate better, they improve safety, reduce errors, and become eligible for advancement. In short, those classes help you grow your workforce from within. Since 2020, we've shifted to primarily live online instruction at Cornerstones. For employers, this removes two major barriers, transportation and scheduling. Your employees can attend class without leaving their community and often without leaving their home, sometimes without leaving the workplace. And the classes are still interactive and instructor-led. We've actually seen higher retention in our classes and more instructional hours being completed by students with this model, which means better outcomes for your workforce. We also address those skills needs. As Jill said, when we surveyed employers, the top training needs weren't just technical skills. We expect that, right, in the age that we live in. But they were workplace behaviors, attendance, accountability, attitudes, communication, those basic technology skills. These are exactly the skills that impact retention and productivity for so many of your businesses, and our business too. The advantage that we bring is that our instructors specialize in working with adults. We don't just present information, we help people build habits and apply those skills in real workplace situations.
You're right, Becky. Having the right skills is one thing, but knowing how to deliver that knowledge is where the real transformation happens. And at Cornerstones, we don't believe in just a one-size-fits-all training slide deck presentation. We specialize in developing customized training that is built around your specific operational needs in the business. We don't just walk in with a set of curriculum. We actually sit down with you to identify the exact performance gaps in your teams. Whether your business needs to bridge a technical literacy gap in manufacturing or enhance specialized communication in healthcare, we build a program to meet your current job demands and your specific South Dakota community. Like Becky mentioned, the reason our training sticks is because we are teams of specialists in adult education. We understand that adults don't learn like students in a traditional classroom. They need to see immediate relevance of what they're learning. And at Cornerstones and other learning centers, we meet your employees exactly where they are, assessing their individual learning styles and current skills levels to ensure that instruction is accessible, engaging, and most importantly for your businesses, effective. Finally, we know that true growth requires more than just a transfer of information and memorizing to pass tests. It actually requires habit formation. Because our background is in adult education, our training focuses on the how, not just the what. We help your employees move from simply understanding a concept to consistently practicing the workplace behaviors you want, like accountability, professional communication, and appearance. That will drive your organization's long-term success. The fourth path that I'll mention here now is coaching. Cornerstones, we provide job coaching, and that helps our people prepare for work, find jobs, and succeed in employment. We partner with individuals, schools, employers, and state agencies such as the Department of Labor to meet and support meaningful long-term employment. Our employment specialists provide personalized support for adults and youth, including individuals with disabilities. Some of the things that we offer are job exploration and career planning, job development and placement, job coaching and on-the-job support, and follow-along services to help employees succeed. We also provide support for employers and workplaces through these programs. More information on coaching, including a partnership resource such as Ability for Hire, is available more on our Cornerstones website. So next, we've talked about how we prepare the employee with training, education, and skills. But for that growth to be sustainable, it has to be a two-way street. And that's where you in the audience come into play. These strategies that we provide aren't just perks, they're shared investments that build a bridge between an employee's potential and your company's stability. When we talk about the two-way street, we're talking about mutual accountability. At Cornerstones, we do the heavy lifting to get your staff career ready, but the street stays open when you provide the environment that new training can actually be put into work. It's a partnership. You provide the opportunity, they provide the growth, and together we create a stable workforce. This often starts with simple, practical shifts. These are some tips for you as employers. Provide flexible scheduling that will allow an employee to finish their GED or certification without choosing between their paycheck or progress. Combined with tuition or credential assistance, you're helping them move from an entry-level role to a specialized position, like a Medicaid or moving into a licensed CDL driver. It's always more cost-effective to upskill a loyal employee who already knows your culture than it is to go back to the drawing board with a new hire. My final tip is never underestimate the power of recognizing skill advancement. In a tight labor market like ours in South Dakota, retention is profit. The hidden costs of turnover, which would be recruiting, onboarding, and lost productivity, can cost you up to 20% of a position's salary. By recognizing milestones and fostering a growth culture, you can stop the bleed of talent. You aren't just saving on hiring costs, you'd be building institutional knowledge. And in our small towns, you could call it a homegrown talent pipeline that makes your business more resilient and more profitable for the long haul. So to wrap this up, when we talk about a two-way street, we're really talking about ROI. Every dollar or hour you invest into flexible scheduling for your employees or recognition when they complete tests, that is not a sunk cost. Think of it as a deposit into your company's stability. When we reduce turnover and grow our own talent right here in our South Dakota communities, we aren't just helping one person, we're ensuring that your business and our local economies remain resilient and profitable for the long haul. Now, this is the exciting part of our presentation because it shows that Cornerstones is being proactive for you. We aren't just waiting for people to walk through our doors. We're actively out in the community, finding them for you and with you. We are specifically looking for thousands of South Dakotans who have started their GED journey but have stopped. Many have maybe passed 2 or 3 of the 4 required tests, and we're helping them finish strong with the reoccurring message of reconnect to complete. And to reach our target audience, we're launching a statewide marketing campaign. And this isn't just about one Facebook post. It's actually a coordinated effort using radio and billboards to capture attention during employees' daily commute. We are using targeted social media ads to find adults who are stuck in low-wage cycles and showing them exactly how an education or certification gap is the only thing standing between them and a better career. We've developed high-quality brochures and other reading materials, and these are designed to be grab-on-the-go resources that you as employers or our partners, such as the Department of Labor, can place in your break rooms or lobbies. The bottom line for you as employers on the call is that re-engaging with these lost learners, we're actually expanding the pool of qualified, credentialed workers available for you in your open positions right now.
That's right. And we know that training takes time, and time is one of your most limited resources. That's where we and other career learning centers in the state can step in as partners. Instead of pulling supervisors off the floor or building training programs from scratch, you can partner with us to design exactly what your employees need. We've developed trainings for things like company-specific forms and systems, workplace English programs for safety and production purposes, job-specific math and measurement skills. Everything is customized, so your employees are learning what they actually use on the job in your organization. Think of us as an extension of your training department. Now, our public programs like GED and English classes are free for eligible participants. For customized workplace training, there is a cost, but it's designed to be affordable and focused only on covering development of the program and the instruction. Our easy rule of thumb is if they come into our existing classes, there's no fee. If you want us to come to you and design something specialized, there's going to carry a fee. For many employers, though, this is significantly more cost effective than developing training internally or dealing with turnover caused by skills gaps. So if you're facing challenges with hiring, retention, or employee skill development, we encourage you to start a conversation. Reach out to your local adult education provider or your South Dakota Department of Labor and Regulation Business Services representative, or you can contact us at Cornerstones directly. We're happy to connect you with the right partner if we're not the agency in your location. Even a short conversation can uncover opportunities to strengthen your workforce quickly and cost effectively. And at the end of the day, our goal is simple. We don't just educate students, we help to build a stronger workforce for all South Dakota communities.
As we wrap up, we want to thank you all for joining us today. This initiative wouldn't be possible without the collaboration of the Department of Labor and Regulation and the hard work of our partner learning center agencies across South Dakota. We know that we don't travel this road alone, so we're excited to drive this change forward with all of you. Together, we can look forward towards the horizon of a stronger economy in South Dakota. And does anyone have any final thoughts or questions? Chris, I'll let you take the chat.
I'm seeing a shout out from Julia. Thanks, Julia, for that.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you for attending today's Workforce Knowledge Series. On behalf of the Business Services team, we want to thank our speakers, Joe Leonard Anderson and Becky Lemke, for sharing such valuable information with us. A link into our survey has been posted in the chat. We would greatly appreciate it if you could take a moment and complete it and share your feedback. Your input helps us to improve our events and better serve your needs. If you have any additional questions, feel free to add them to the chat and we will be happy to forward them to today's presenters. Our next Workforce Knowledge Series will be held on May 14th at 11:30 a.m. Central, 10:30 a.m. Mountain. Brian Mundahl will be presenting on child labor laws, and we hope you can join us. Again, on behalf of the Business Services team with the South Dakota Department of Labor and Regulation, thank you for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you next month. Have a great day.